Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? It is the start of a new week, and with that comes news, updates, rumors, and leaks pertaining to Nintendo and the Switch 2. And in this video, we have a wide range of topics, and it's all very interesting stuff. So let's go ahead and get right into this video. Finally, I think I am out of being sick. Still a couple sniffles here and there, but man, it's like the worst feeling ever. So thanks for bearing with me over the past week. I know I was not pleasant to listen to, but we made it through. So before we actually get into this video, something I never ever do. Like once a video is out, it does what it does. But I had a video come out yesterday and I worked really hard on it, and it was about every game that was canceled for the Nintendo Switch. And it was very interesting, and it did horrible, like absolutely horrible. So maybe it had a bad thumbnail, maybe the title was not great, or maybe people just don't care. But if you have some free time, go check out that video. It is very interesting stuff. This video today, very interesting as well. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep the communities growing. And let's go ahead and get right into this one. So first, guess what? There is special edition Nintendo Switch 2s. You know, I'm not talking about like the goofy Joy-Con 2s that were just like barely different colors. I'm talking about completely different shells, cases, Joy-Cons, everything completely different. And it is for a game that has a Switch 2 edition coming out very soon. Unfortunately, there's only 4 of these. So Disney Dreamlight Valley is getting an official Switch 2 edition very soon. It's either this month or next month. And to celebrate that, they're holding a contest. And they're giving away 4 exclusive custom Nintendo Switch 2s. And I believe it's free to enter, so all you have to do is like search this contest and then you can enter. But the Switch 2s, man, like, yeah, they're not for everybody, but it's cool seeing something that's official that's just a little different. Like the dock is different, the Joy-Cons look cool, the back of the Switch 2 looks cool. So regardless if you're a fan of Disney or not, I think this is officially the first custom Nintendo Switch 2s that are official. And I just find that very interesting. Now the Switch 2 is also getting some stuff from Mario Kart World. Even though it's official, it's not through Nintendo, but it's through Hori, which always makes a licensed Nintendo stuff. They make some really cool, they did make some really cool licensed Joy-Cons. They're like 20 bucks or 25 bucks. It had D-pads on them. So they're making an official Nintendo licensed Mario Kart World racing wheel. And this is going to be coming out March 23rd of 2026, or maybe that's when you can start ordering it. I've seen a couple different listings, but I think the price is $130. And in the world of racing wheels, that seems affordable, and it is, but the quality it's not going to be something that's like elite. And I've read a couple of reports of people who said they actually were able to use this early somehow, and it wasn't living up to their expectations. So this is more of like a novelty thing, you know what I mean? Like you're not going to be winning any Mario Kart World tournaments, or maybe you will. But I do find this pretty cool that we're getting stuff like this for the Switch 2. And before we get into some actual bigger updates, one more thing I need to talk about quickly. So over on Reddit, there are people who have been trying to get Super Mario 64, like I guess make a demake of it and get it working on the Game Boy Advance. It's a whole thing going on, like there's a whole community doing this. And finally, there's somebody over there who's getting very, very close. So I'll be showing you the post and the animation on the screen. This is crazy that is on a Game Boy Advance. Like the motions are spot on. So I'm very curious how this will all play out. Now, this is a crazy thing here. This took them 2 years to make that animation. So maybe they're just doing this in their free time. But anytime I see something like this, you know, it's all done by passion, and I love highlighting it because what a bunch of nerds, man. And I mean that in like the best way possible. So speaking of the Nintendo Switch 2, there's one word that immediately comes to mind, right? There's a lot of words you could think of, but me, I sit down and I think about the Switch 2, and one word that pops in my mind: expensive. The console, the games, the accessories. What is going on here? I'm not here to beat a dead horse, right? I'm not here to say like, oh my God, it's so expensive. Although it is. So this happens with every console generation. Stuff is expensive. So third party will come in, but not only third party, knockoffs will come in. And I don't know where that like lies in between third party and first party, and this stuff is fake. Is it even like fifth or sixth party at that point? I don't know. So we've seen this happen thousands of times with Switch Joy-Cons, right? I bought, I'm not even kidding, like 6 pairs of fake Switch Joy-Cons. I bought some overseas. I found some on vacation here. I bought some on like some Chinese websites, and they would work and had rumble, but the rumble would always be way too crazy to where you wouldn't even want to play. Like your whole Switch would start vibrating. Like, what the hell's going on? So we've officially crossed a threshold with the Switch 2, because now there is official fake Switch 2 Joy-Cons. I know, kind of crazy. The first thing you have to keep in mind, these things are immediately half the price of the real ones. Counterfeit Switch 2 Joy-Cons have hit the market at $45. At first glance, they're actually quite difficult to tell apart from real Joy-Cons. They're noticeably lighter, about 10 grams lighter, and no optical sensor at all for mouse mode. Right away, just from looking at the box, I can tell this is the same people who manufactured like the first Switch Joy-Cons that were fake. But man, these things look pretty legit, right? And the only caveat is they don't have mouse mode like you can see in the picture. There's just no sensor there. I'm not using mouse mode or have used it at all. And you're telling me these things are a tiny bit lighter. They probably have rumble. Like, it doesn't say they don't have rumble, so I'm going to assume it does. And they're $45. If these magically got ordered some way, somehow to my house and magically attached to my Switch 2, I don't think I would care that much. So this is very interesting that this is happening, because now that this has happened, we're going to start seeing custom Switch 2 Joy-Cons that are fake as well. Zelda ones, Mario ones, Kirby ones. And if Nintendo is not putting those out themselves, not only are they losing out on a bunch of money, but once those do come out and they're like $100 and then these are $50, it's going to feel like an opportunity that was too late for Nintendo. And don't get me wrong, of course they will still sell out from Nintendo, but yeah, this market for these fake ones, I think it's going to be a lot more sought after, especially because of the prices, than with the Switch. So if you guys watch my videos all the time, you know one of my favorite things to do is look up trademarks and patents. But for the past week, I thought I was dying or something. I had a cold, I guess. I'm going to blame my children. I'm going to say they gave it to me, even though I don't think they got sick. Somehow it was still their fault. I'm convinced of it. But yeah, I missed a patent, and Mike Odyssey is the one highlighting this. So shout out to them for finding this. But essentially what this looks like, and we've seen a bunch of other patents in the past 18 months that kind of highlighted the same stuff. But essentially what it looks like is Nintendo's making actual VR that you would wear on your face, and interact with stuff like on tabletops and stuff like that. And I wonder if this will be a peripheral for the Switch 2. So he says, new patent. This one is exciting. Nintendo just filed a new patent for a AR device, so augmented reality, like those AR glasses, allowing you to use a headset and play games in the real world. So not VR, it's AR. The example shows a game played on a table with characters walking on the table. The processing power comes from a mobile device, which could be the Switch 2. And then they show a couple of pictures here. And I swear I've seen like the same patent before. So although this is interesting, I will say this. I had a company send me AR glasses. I cannot remember what the name of the company was. Virtue or Virtrue or something. They're really popular. They sent them to me, and I was going to do a brand deal for like $300 or $400. This is actually the second time I turned down a brand deal after signing a contract. The first time was through Raid Shadow Legends, because I'm not going to promote Raid Shadow Legends to you guys. You know, I respect you too much to do that. So I turned down that contract. Like after I signed it, I was like, I can't do this shit. The second time was for AR glasses, because they sent them to my house. The quality was very high product, but I would put the glasses on and then like just look around and connect my Switch to it and do all this stuff. And it made me insanely sick, like insane amounts of motion sickness. And I've never felt that way before. Like I've done VR at arcades, like the big VR stuff, rode roller coasters, flew on airplanes, I skateboard all the time. I'm trying to think like anything you can get motion sickness from. I've never got it, but I put on these AR glasses, started looking around, and then the moment I took them off, I just wanted to puke. And I was supposed to promote these to you guys to say, look, you can play your console like this, or you can watch YouTube. And while you can do those things, I was not a fan of it. So I sent the package back to them. And they were like, what? We're going to pay you this money and you're sending it back? They were confused, but I couldn't promote it to you guys. So while this is interesting, and it would be really cool to see the light of day, I'm just not a fan of AR. VR, sure, but AR is a little different. Now, Nintendo is a stickler for like working out the details. Although they just released the Virtual Boy again, so I'm not really sure anymore. So time will tell on this, right? It is interesting. If it's AR, I'm not a fan of it, but if they could do something with VR, I would be much more interested. And now let's talk about Super Mario and the world of Super Mario and potentially the next 3D Mario game. I know, we're talking about it every week, but we're hearing no news. So first I want to highlight a few things from this recent interview with the Donkey Kong Bonanza developers because it's interesting and it kind of points towards the next 3D Mario game. And then there's a small theory going around the internet right now. There's no evidence of it, but it's like the best opportunity Nintendo could ever have to promote the next 3D Mario game. So we'll talk about that right after this. So in this recent interview, Donkey Kong Bonanza's developers wanted to make sure Mario and Donkey Kong games feel different. Is there perhaps a slightly different kind of person that might prefer one character over the other? And the reason why they say this, it's simple, but it makes a lot of sense. As producer Kenta Marokura tells Games Radar in an interview at the Game Developers Conference, part of how Nintendo approached Donkey Kong Bonanza's destruction mechanics was motivated by thinking about, well, what sort of things can a human not do? What sort of things could Mario not do? What scale of destruction would you only see from Donkey Kong as he's punching rocks and that sort of thing? Early in Bonanza's development, Marokura and the team went to Shigeru Miyamoto and longtime Mario producer Yoshiaki Koizumi so that we could discuss what were the particular characteristics of Donkey Kong as a character. Those discussions started to lead into ideas for gameplay and also types of technology that we might be able to bring to life. Something else they talk about in this interview is what mechanics or ideas or inspiration could they take from Donkey Kong Bonanza and implement that into the next 3D Mario game. So, the same way we've seen some stuff from like Super Mario Odyssey, maybe not one for one, but you could see some of the ideas there that were in Donkey Kong Bonanza or some of the inspiration. They're going to do that vice versa. Now, when you hear stuff like that, you think, well, does that mean they were waiting for Donkey Kong Bonanza to come out to start working on the next 3D Mario game? No, there's no way in hell that game has not been in development for at least half a decade. And I would bet any amount of money on that, right? But I just find it so cool that they're taking ideas from one, putting that in the next game, and then taking ideas from that game, which came from their predecessor, and putting that into the next game as well. So it's almost like the inspiration for Donkey Kong Bonanza was Super Mario Odyssey, and then some of the inspiration for the next 3D Mario game will be Donkey Kong Bonanza, but that got its inspiration from Super Mario Odyssey. It's all connected. And then quickly, there's a theory out there right now. It's small, but it's interesting, and Nintendo has the coolest opportunity in the world to do this, so that's why it will definitely not happen. But there is a small theory out there right now that whenever the Super Mario Galaxy movie comes out and the credits roll, in those credits, we will potentially see the next 3D Mario game. Maybe it's just a character, maybe it's a title, maybe it's a hint at what the next game could be. And a lot of people are saying if this is true, maybe the next game is going to be Super Mario Galaxy 3. And trilogies are nice in gaming. It's a nice way to wrap up a story. And I just feel like there's so much untapped potential and like the whole mechanics of Galaxy being in space and all these cool power-ups and then all the characters. So this is a theory that has no weight to it whatsoever, but it is an interesting theory. And if Nintendo wanted to promote the next Mario game, they could potentially have 1 billion people watch the movie, then see the ad. Imagine 1 billion people seeing a Nintendo Direct. I know it's not the same, but it's like, whoa, that's the next Mario game? I need to go buy this Nintendo console. And you could do that just by promoting it in the movie or at the end of the movie. But I digress. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. So in the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys. Again, thank you for bearing with me. I know there's a trillion YouTubers out there who probably do what I do better than what I do. So the fact that you take any time out of your day to hang out with me, it means the world to me. I really hope you can feel that I mean that. So I appreciate your time. So hit a like and subscribe on the way out if you could. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter because we are growing on both platforms and that's really cool. And consider becoming a channel member. It is the ultimate way to support this community. And you guys know me. I will see you very soon with a new video. Peace.